Mexican, but I will say that if you have never been there, at least once in your life, you have to go to Mexico. And I'm pretty sure that once you are there or once you visit for the first time, you will be really eager to go back again. Really, Omar? Northern? Yeah, so it's a wonderful country. It's, as you know, it's a huge country, big country. And it's so different. We have everything. We have not only ancient cultures, but we have deserts, we have lagoons, we have mountains, we have Caribbean Sea, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf. So everything is so different. You can go from Mexico City and then travel for a couple of hours or even an hour and find a totally different sightseeing. So, and also people is so different. No? The people from Yucatan, no? That they come from the Mayan culture, or people from the central Mexico, or Mexico City, which is an amazing city. You know? So let's go, please, Tonia, with next slide. Well, this is a map of the country. You will see we just are mentioning the main, let's say, main touristic places in the country. Usually the most requested from all people that is visiting Mexico. We, as I mentioned, we will concentrate on Mexico City and surroundings, and then we'll go to Yucatan Peninsula, of course, talking also about Cancun and Riviera Maya. But also you can see now the southern part of Mexico that we can, usually we visit Oaxaca and Chiapas, the Copper Canyon, which is so nice, and it's wonderful to combine it with Baja La Península de los Cabos, or the Pacific part of the country, you know, which is Puerto Vallarta, Rivera Nayarit, but by the way, are very close to the tequila land, which is Jalisco. So, okay, let's go to Mexico City.
Yeah, just a moment, Luz. Before changing slide, I just want to add something, that Mexico is such a big country. Everything is reachable by plane. We have so many connections among all the domestic flights that we have so many flights in a day from Mexico City to Cancun, or other way you could choose from Mexico City to Mérida, which is the capital of Yucatan state. And to have so many, to profit the time and fly between all the Mexican cities, so to be able to visit even in 7, maybe 10 days, both of things. Culture, as Luz said, about ancient culture, Aztecs in Mexico City, Mayan culture in Yucatan Peninsula, but also to combine with the beaches that we have in Mexico, such as Cancun, Mayan Riviera, or anyway, Pacific Coast as Puerto Vallarta in Nayarit Riviera, or maybe Los Cabos. Everything is reachable by plane. We have so many domestic flights to be able to combine.
And very cheap also.
Exactly, with the international flights coming from abroad, Europe or Asia, whatever, United States. We have 2 hours far from Miami, 4 hours from New York, 3 hours from LA. So we are so many connections in international flights that Mexico City as well, Cancun, they are so easy reachable. So that just want to make you understand that Mexico country, it's very, very big country, but we have so many flights. So to be able to combine a lot of places to visit, even in 1 week only, or if they have chance, 10 days would be much better.
Yes, and well, let me add also for Oya that she was asking, Tonia mentioned, actually, yes, as Omar mentioned, from Mexico City to Cancun is almost a 2-hour flight. But by land, if you want to make a very nice tour, but not such a long tour, you need at least 7 nights. 7 nights, 8 days. And then you can visit, you can fly from Mexico City to Chiapas. That's like almost a 2-hour flight as well. No, an 1.5 hour flight. And then from Chiapas, you can visit all all the south of the country. Let's say the Yucatan Peninsula, starting from Chiapas, then going to Campeche, Yucatan, and then arriving, and you can end your trip on Cancun or Riviera Maya. So let's say that with 8 days, 7 nights, you can have a very nice tour. And then you can stay at the beach if you want, as long as you want. But
and then we have the direct flight
touring that part of the country. Let's say that with a week, you can see a lot of things and very, very different parts of the country. Otherwise, as Tonia mentioned, it's very easy to connect by flight. Now, nowadays, as Tonia said, we have 3 low-cost companies in Mexico, and we have like 30 daily flights from Mexico City to Cancun. And you can pay from, $50 for the flight. It's very cheap, and they're very good companies. I would even say that even better companies than European low-cost companies. So you don't have to pay for your extra baggage. You don't have to pay for the food. You don't have to pay for, quality is much better. Their aircrafts are new, so very safe. So it's very easy to fly from nowadays from Mexico City to Cancun. Okay, Mexico City, for sure, always worth a visit. At least 2-3 nights there, you will enjoy them a lot. I would say that if you are from Istanbul, you will feel like at home in Mexico City. I always say to Omar that I think that Turkish and Mexicans, we have a lot of things in common. Actually, when I go to Istanbul, I feel like I'm at home. I'm from Mexico City. And you will see, you will find a lot of similarities when you are there. You know, it's such a big city. It's such an amazing city. Usually the main thing that people say to me after they have been there, they say, oh, it's amazing when you are landing to Mexico at the airport and you cannot see where the city really ends. No, it's such an amazing city, so huge. We are currently, I think we are 22 million. Population is 22 million, so it's 5 more million, I guess, or 6 more million than Istanbul. So it's such an amazing city. No, it's not only about cows, traffic, and lots of people everywhere. It's a lot about culture. You know, one of our main and most representative cultures was born there, which is the Aztecs. The Aztecs, the ancient culture, which really were the ones that really found the city and start creating, which is now Mexico City. And in the end, this Tenochtitlan was the original name of the city. Okay, let's go to the next slide. This is the historic center. We have very, very nice hotels in this part of the city. Usually we love to suggest them to individuals, because for groups, let's say more than 10 packs or 15 packs is very hard for parking. So it's not really suitable and comfortable for them, you know, because sometimes they close the streets and they need to go and down with the bus and then walk to the hotel. So it's not really comfortable. But if you have individuals, I love always to suggest to stay in a hotel there with a very, very nice view. All of them are all the buildings, colonial buildings. And the Zócalo, which is the main square, is the biggest square of Latin America. And the wonderful thing here is that you can see how cultures have been sharing the space over the years. So you can see the cathedral that was built by the Spanish conquerors on the many centuries ago. And besides, you can see a small archaeological site called Templo Mayor, which was originally the Tenochtitlan, no? the Aztec city. So it's pretty amazing how cultures have been part of this very, very important part of the city. Actually, this is the heart of the city. And also when people is there, they love to see how people, you know, there's a lot of people that walk there. There are a lot of very nice and good restaurants, a lot of shops. So it's always nice to pay a visit to the Mexican Historical Center. Then we have another very popular neighborhood, which is Coyoacan. Actually, once you go to Coyoacan, let's say if there's no traffic from city center to Coyoacan, it takes you like an hour and a half maybe, if you're lucky. But it's such an amazing part of the city because it looks like you are in totally in another world. It's like it's a neighborhood, call it Coyoacan, but it seems like a small, rustic, bohemian village. And in this part of the city is located the famous museum that was originally Frida Kahlo's former house. So you can also, usually we love to take people to that museum because they enjoy a lot that part of the city. Casa Azul, yes, Leila, yes, Casa Azul is a must, definitely is a must. And also very nice restaurants along in that area as well. And people always love, let's say in the morning, maybe we can take them to visit the Historical Center, the Anthropology Museum, and in the afternoon they can go to this part of the city. You know, let's say in a full day excursion, you can visit both parts of the cities, considering the traffic, of course.
And also you can say before changing
yes, the virtual tour of the house. Yes, there was on the net this tour about Casa Azul, which is very, very nice, beautiful. Once you are there, you want to stay there and you want to say, I want to live here and stay here forever. I know, I have been there for, I don't know, I think 20 times in my life, and I love to go there every time I go to Mexico. It's a beautiful place. I'm sorry, I'm reading your comments. Oh, sorry, sorry, Arno, I'm reading about the passport control and this. Well, we don't know yet how the government really will act about countries that currently are visa requirements. We all hope that they will do something to ease these things, because they have to understand that tourism for Mexico is so important. So, but so far the government hasn't really made any comment about it. Actually, as an tourist association, we have already sent a letter to the government where we are asking a few things that we would like to improve tourism for the next months and years to come. And some of them are these, you know, the factor of make things easier for some countries. And we all hope that they will listen to us, you know, and they will do something to make things easy for, I mean, for example, Turkey. Nowadays that we are having this very good partnership through Turkish Airlines, I mean, I think it's really silly to still asking visa to Turkish citizens, but you know, we cannot do something about it. We just can push and send our requirements, ideas, and suggestions to the government and hope that they will really take on consideration, but we don't know yet about anything. I'm pretty sure that as soon this crisis will pass a little bit, maybe they will start thinking about these things that they have to do. So far, I will be very honest, our government hasn't yet set any ideas or any project or plan for the recovery of the country. Not yet. We don't have anything yet. So we practically are living week by week and seeing what things are going on. But we really hope that they will take very good measurements about something to make tourists go back again to Mexico. Thanks for your question, Arnold. Okay, this is Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is depends on traffic a lot because that part of the city is very traffic. But we all hope that if they make things easier, because they are doing some changes in those avenues and streets that leads you to Teotihuacan, maybe in a half an hour, you now will be able to reach Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan, usually we suggest to do it in the morning. So leave the hotel after breakfast in order that you are able to arrive there at, let's say, at 9 o'clock in the morning, in order to avoid very hot weather, because as you can see, it's all an open air site. So there are no places where you can really, once you enter the site, you just have to walk a lot, not to arrive to the main pyramids. So it's, let's say about noon is pretty hot. So sometimes people is really tired about walking all the way. So we just always suggest to do it early in the morning. Of course, depends on clients. No, if the clients say, oh, in the morning I want to see the city, and then I would prefer after lunch to go to the site, is perfect. We can do it anyway, of course. But maybe we always suggest to visit archaeological sites early in the morning, also to avoid the crowds, of course, no? Because they are also very visited by a lot of people, and by 11 noon, 1 o'clock those are the peak hours of the day. So, but it's such an amazing city, and also because if you combine it with Yucatan, and then you will visit the Mayan archaeological site, you will see the difference between them. And that is so fascinating about the archaeological sites in Mexico. Well, this is a very nice way to visit Teotihuacan. And the only thing is that you have to get up really early, because you have to arrive to Teotihuacan at 6 o'clock in the morning. So not breakfast before the hot air balloon. So you will take the balloon around 6:15 usually. And it takes you like an hour, the flight. It's such an amazing way. I would say that this is the best way to visit Teotihuacan. It's a wonderful experience. And after that, we take you to breakfast after the visit, breakfast. And then if clients want, we can take you to the visit of the site by walk. Otherwise, we just can leave the site and we can continue with the rest of the activities of the day. But this is just taken into consideration. Also, if you have maybe a small group, also they love it. They just love it. And it's a very successful activity. The context of the restaurant, well, usually it's a breakfast buffet, which has a lot of Mexican food, of course, usually the typical, Mexican breakfast with very fresh fruit and some Mexican dishes like eggs, chilaquiles, quesadillas, and also some hot cakes, a little bit of bread, fresh juices, but usually it's a breakfast buffet after this activity. In a very nice restaurant close by, which is very good. Also, sorry, I think to do a Star Wars, but you will enjoy more. Sorry, once in a time I have to read your message. Then we have Xochimilco. Xochimilco, we call it like Mexican Venice. It's a little bit funny to call it Mexican Venice. But it's fun, but I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't remember. You have been there? You are northern, yes? But also, we Mexicans love that place, because it's true that it's a very touristic place, but also it's a place where locals love to go on Sundays. For example, if it's your birthday, okay, let's go to Xochimilco and have some drinks and leave some mariachi. And you can even have lunch on board of your trajinera. Trajinera is the name of this kind of boat, sorry. So, and also this is very close to Coyoacán. So you can also combine it with Coyoacán, because that's the south of the city. So once you go to Coyoacán, it takes you really like 20 minutes to get there. So if people is interested in a very Mexican activity and how Mexicans, especially I will love to suggest it during weekends, because it's when there's a lot of Mexicans there. So you can see how Mexicans have fun during the weekend. Maybe they will also invite you a beer or something, or a tequila, or they will give you a Mexican song or something, because Mexicans are very generous and As soon as they notice that you are a foreigner, they will say, okay, there's a beer for you, a tequila for you, or a song from me to you. So you will enjoy it for sure. Also, it's very, very nice for groups. We have also managed incentives in this part of the city because, of course, we can rent a lot of these boats and organize a very nice lunch or even early dinner or just an aperitif, before another activity, and they really love it. So Chimilco has been.
You're answering the question that you made about the color of corn. It's not burned, and it's called blue corn, which is a typical Mexican corn. From them, they made the blue tortilla. That it's a really special Mexican cuisine, and it's not burned. It's just do you say
it's a type of corn.
Of corn.
Yeah.
It's born like that. It's not burned. There are so many kinds of corns here in Mexico.
And also we do tortillas from that corn as well. And you can see that the tortillas are not, that kind of jello. They're like blue. We call it blue tortillas. Okay, let's go. Well, this is Tequila Museum. That it has been open already for, I think, like 5 years ago. And it's very close to a very famous square called Plaza Garibaldi, which is a very nice part of the city, very close to city center, and where most of the mariachi bands are concentrated. When we Mexicans organize a party at home and you are like, oh, let's bring a mariachi for the party, you just go and drive there and hire a mariachi on the street and okay, follow me. And all of them are concentrated in this square. And this museum is very close to this place. So it's a very, very nice, it's nice, very interesting experience, also because they make the tequilas tasty, of course. Also, if you want to organize, you would like to organize a special dinner for your clients or a small group, they are able to organize these kind of activities there. And well, tequila for Mexicans it's part of us.
It's like not, water.
It's like water, yeah. It's not only like, it's really part of Mexicans. We do really drink tequila, but this is idea for mais participar. Yes, of course, we have organized a lot of activities in this museum and very, very successful. We have even privatized the top of the museum for groups or incentives, and it's very, very nice. Okay, let's go ahead. Well, this is another very nice experience that you can do before dinner. You can try the lucha libre, wrestling. That actually has been important by the American culture, but actually Mexicans really adopted since I think that the early 90s. So it's also a very nice experience. If you have particularly people that really wants to experience something in the evenings, because sometimes not everybody wants to do something in the evenings because of jet lags or because they have been around since early in the morning. So usually after dinner they just want to go and have a rest. But this is also a very good idea to suggest to your clients. This is a very famous Guadalupe shrine, which I must say that it's always really worth a visit. Besides your own faith and your own religion, because for Mexicans, the Virgen de Guadalupe is very, very important. No, actually, there's people in Mexico that used to say, and I will say everything with this phrase that they say, I'm not Catholic, but I'm Guadalupano, which means it's everything, And actually for Mexicans, you can see every single day a lot of people that goes there and shows their faith and in many different ways. And it's very, very touching, really. Let's go to the next, because we have a lot. Well, this is another very nice activity that we can propose in a very nice house, which is called Casa Jacaranda, a private cooking class, which we can offer for individuals, of course, or small groups as well. We can do it in two different ways. We can take you since early in the morning to the market, so you can buy your groceries and all what you need for cook, or you just can arrive there and be part of the cooking show and then have lunch, and that's it. You know? So we can do it in different ways. This is the taco tour, also for people that would likes to experience the real Mexican street food, which is perfect for after a tour or before dinner, or let's say like an early dinner also. They can arrive around there about 7 o'clock in the evening and then have a drink before and then start the taco tour. So we have select really very nice places where you can eat tacos, some of the best tacos in the city. And this is a little bit about our nightlife, which we know that Turkish love a lot. So we have some of the best restaurants in the world, like Pujol or Quintonil, which has been, actually Pujol restaurant has been nominated, I think, the 3rd best restaurant in the world last year. Oh, we have Salón Tenampa, which is the mariachi, a very, very famous place in Mexico where locals go a lot there. Actually, this place is very close to the Tequila Museum. So we can combine both. You can go and pay a visit to the museum and then go to Salón Tenampa and enjoy live music and a Mexican dinner, or just to have a drink, a tequila, and some snacks. Or if you want to dance, we have Salón Los Ángeles, which is also a very old place. Actually, in Mexico, many of people from Mexico City, they say, who does not know Los Angeles does not know Mexico, because it's like a must if you want to go and dance. Or we have the Latin America Tower, that for years was actually the tallest building in America Latina. Actually, it's not anymore, of course. Also in Mexico, it's not anymore the tallest. But it's wonderful to have a view of the city. It's just an amazing. Actually, it's one of the few places where you can have a look from above of the whole city, and it's very, very nice. So you can, at the end of the tour or before you are going back to your hotel, we can take you there for a drink, and you just can have some pictures and take a look of the city. And then we have the famous Day of the Dead festivity, which has always been very famous. Actually, for Mexicans, it's very famous, and always
very
had been. We have always have this. It's not only about religion, but it's more about the relation we have with death, tradition, of course. And in the whole country, we celebrate the Day of the Dead from the October 31st till November the 2nd. And you can have many different traditions and many different festivities depending on the region. Mexico City, the best places to be part of this is in Mexico City, in Oaxaca, Michoacan, and Yucatan as well. Well, in Yucatan it's totally different, because it's called Canal Pichan, because has been
for the Mayan culture.
By Mayan culture. So it's such a wonderful time of the year to visit Mexico. Depends, of course, depending which day you are arriving or you're planning to arrive. We have to structure you in the way that you can be part of these festivities. A very important thing is a very, very requested day, a very requested period of the year. Also because for the past 5 years, Formula One Grand Prix is organizing on the same dates in Mexico City. So that's really crazy for us, not to be, because in Mexico City, Since a year before, it's a year in advance, they just book a lot of rooms in the city. And so it's hard. No, you have to consider if you want to spend that in Mexico City. Of course, as Ernest said, it's expensive because all the hotels in Mexico City usually they charge you 3 times the regular rate. Well, as I mentioned, you can also go to Oaxaca or you can go to Michoacán. But the important thing about is if you would like to spend this holiday in Oaxaca or Michoacán is that you have to book at least 1 year in advance. Otherwise, you won't be able to find a single room. Let me tell you just for your information, of course, before these crazy times we're living now, but till the month of February in Oaxaca, we had only like 10 rooms left in the whole city. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So it could be a very good holiday to sell the country, to sell the destination, but you have to be aware of this also. Well, the next 3 slides is some few examples of the hotels we have in Mexico City. In Mexico City, of course, being a big city, you can have everything you want. You can have boutique hotels, you can have 5-star hotels, 5-star deluxe hotels, very good 4-star hotels. And
it depends on budget that you will have.
Yes, depends on your budget, of course. Depends also if you have a group, if you have individuals, if you have a family. But services really good, of course. And locations are really good. Now we'll go very fast through the next slide. So just to give you an idea about some activities that you can do out of Mexico City, but being very close. This can be also operate as day excursions. You can go to Taxco, which is an old silver mining village. It takes you like 3 hours from Mexico City. It's a beautiful colonial city that worth a visit very, very well. We can take you there in a day. Of course, you can leave after breakfast from Mexico City and then visit Taxco and some other city on the way to Taxco. And you can go back to Mexico, I say, before dinner. For dinner, you are already back in your hotel. Or we can take you to Puebla and Cholula. Puebla is such a beautiful colonial city. It depends on traffic. Let's say that from Mexico City, it takes you like 2 hours and a half, more or less. There we have wonderful volcanoes, the most famous and some of the most important volcanoes close to Mexico City. On the way, you can have a view of them. We have Cholula, which is such a beautiful old village where was built actually the biggest pyramid in Mexico. Now it's difficult to see it because the Spaniards, they just, as soon as they arrived, they just destroy everything and built a huge cathedral there, but it's a beautiful place to visit. And also, we can go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, then we're going to Yucatan Peninsula.
We're going to fly to Yucatan Peninsula.
Arnold,
do you have any question for Mexico City so far before in changing the geographic area?
Well, before we continue, let me tell you something a little bit, the flights. If you want to visit Yucatan, you have a lot of options to fly there. You can fly, as we mentioned, to Cancun, but you can fly also to Mérida, which is the capital of Yucatan region, or you can fly to Campeche as well. So, and then you can start your tour, depending on how many days you have available, and also depends if your clients are really interested about touring that part of the city. Otherwise, they can fly to Cancun and they can do some day excursions, or they can fly to Mérida, which is a wonderful idea. Mérida is such a beautiful city. Tonia will talk about that. And from Mérida, you can spend also only one night. You can fly from Mexico City, let's say in the morning, and right there and visit Mérida, visit some an old hacienda or some very nice cenotes on that area, and then you can continue to Cancun or Riviera Maya. Tonia?
Okay.
Sorry, Tonia.
Yeah.
Before we continue with Yucatan, I know it is going very well, but we always try to keep this presentation within 1 hour. I don't want to interrupt you, but I appreciate if we can watch the time a little bit, so that we have time for the questions as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, no problem. Okay, so can you see here the map on the left side? So Mexico City is here, more or less, okay? So it takes 2 hours from Mexico City flying or to Merida, here on the top of Yucatan Peninsula, or here, around here, where is the shadow, here is Cancun. Okay, it takes 2 hours, and we have flights every 30 minutes from Mexico City, Cancun, and vice versa. Okay, so Yucatan Peninsula is a mix of culture. Mayan culture is, of course, the strongest culture, but is joined with the culture, with the colonial culture that has been mixed with the ancient culture of people. So Yucatec people, they consider themselves like from another, no planet, but it's another culture, totally different from Mexico City, from northern side of Mexico. Yucatan Peninsula, you can have a hacienda or a colonial hotel, and as Luz was saying, you can fly from Mexico City, land in Merida, spend the night there just to have a city tour, to touch the colonial life, the colonial style. This is the cathedral of Merida, and then you can see how is the colonial style among the streets, okay, and then sleep there, and the day after you can go toward Cancun, stopping in Chichen Itza pyramids, make the visit, and then dropping off to a Mayan Riviera. Merida is also important because it's a central point from joining the points around Merida. Uxmal is one of those strongest civilization points for Mayan culture, which is the divine. This is the pyramid of Uxmal. It's like 1 hour, 10 minutes maybe far from Merida by road. And it's very, very, very nice. Yes, Merida, it's a beautiful white town. It's called the white town due to the color of a building in Paseo de Montejo. This is the biggest avenue in Merida. It's very, very nice architecture style, okay? So Uxmal is, at my personal point of view, the best, the most beautiful Mayan culture archaeological sites to visit, because it's a mystic, it's a magician. You can really feel the Mayan culture in this place. Since it's not so crowded as Chichen Itza, you can still feel the mystic sensation that you will feel there. I need to check. Yeah, the cenote is the sinkhole. It's something typical from Yucatan Peninsula. Only in Yucatan Peninsula you will find cenote. And also you can combine the visit to Uxmal. Nearby Uxmal there is a cenote called Quirquinché, which is a really wide open cenote, safe cenote that you can see the difference.
To the cenote slide.
Yes.
Have the cenote slide. We have some pictures there.
Here we go. There is a different way to visit Yucatan Peninsula. You can see the traditional by bus, or if you do for the more competitive people, you can have by jeep. So you can organize the jeep, drive on your own to reach Uxmal, make the visit, and then here it's one of cenote we were talking. There are stairs. Here you can see the stairs where you can swim, and you can find the difference of water. It's sweet water, it's not salt water. So and normally most of them, they are really crystalline water that you can see the bed of cenote. Hacienda, let me check your. No, those jeeps are from be driven by yourself. If you don't want to drive, so you can have the traditional tour by van that they are going to pick you up at your hotel, bring to the archaeological site, and then bring you back. Otherwise, you can drive with your license. You can drive the jeep and make your own. I mean, it's not on private. I mean, it's a shared service tour that you can have all together, groups of maybe 20 people, and you can drive to Shmal. Haciendas, you know, is the very typical building of Yucatan Peninsula, most from them of the 17th century, and also some of those haciendas are hotels by now, so you can also have a really typical experience to stay in one of those haciendas, so you can wake up and feel the Yucatan sensation just around really beautiful gardens, and feel how hacenderos, is the owner of haciendas, were living, and they were organized hacienda. Also, hacienda, they are also combined with the tours now is touristic tours that explain how the Anakin, which is made, the hammock, is made, so you can see also the process of the hammock. Cooking class, as Luz said, in Mexico in the last years, the cuisine culture became one of the most interesting points. It's something written in Russian, in Turkish, so thank you. I don't understand. So there is the cooking class that also be organized for an incentive group, but as well from a family group that are interested in learning how Mexican cuisine is made. So you can choose Mexico City style, or also with the tacos and the Pujol restaurant. Also Yucatan cooking, it's based on corn ingredients. It's really an experience of life to learn how make a tortilla, to learn how make a guacamole, and it's one of the activities can be organized for incentive group. So Tuta de Peon, I was telling you, it's one of activity can be organized living from Merida, staying in Merida, and then you can live as a Tuta de Peon on the southern side of Merida, and they are bringing in a cart people with a horse, and they are going through the hacienda, and they are going to explain how hammocks and all the objects of hammock, of Anakin can be made, like a hat, hammock. There are lots of how to say, items made by Anakin. So you everything is being explained for local people. They learned English to explain people how Anakin is the plant of agave or Anakin. This is the plant. Can you see here? This is Anakin. They process, they work the plant to still divine like hat of hammocks, okay? And then also we have the cenote. These two can be combined to cenote, because don't forget that Merida is one of the hottest towns in Mexico. There is no winter there. It's hotter than Cancun, Merida, because there is no water around. So we always have to combine those activities with some water activities, because otherwise you need to prepare people to bring with them always a bottle of waters, to dress fresh, to have a hat, because the weather, it's really, really hot. This is the famous cenote. There are so many different kind of cenote. Open cenote, closed cenote, semi-open cenote, that you can go downstairs from some stairs here, okay? Or there are other cenote that the stairs, it's just perpendicularly to come down and stay in the water. Normally, there are deep cenote, not some deep cenote, it's different, but the earth of cenote is Yucatan Peninsula, and you can see the difference from sweet water. Even you swim in a lake are with the sweet water, but it's different, the water of a cenote.
You cannot go to Yucatan and not swimming in a cenote. You cannot do that. That's a must, absolutely.
It's a typical thing of Yucatan to swim in cenote. Also in Cancun, I mean, in Maya Riviera, we have so many cenote too. So maybe if you don't have time to visit a cenote during the stay in Merida, or you don't have people that they don't want to stop to Merida, but they are interested in swimming in cenote, we can organize them in Cancun or in Maya Riviera, that you can find an infinity numbers of cenote. Itamal is a beautiful colonial village which is the big convent of St. Anthony, and it's really called in the colonial architecture, as you can say, and it's called the Yellow Village because this is the most of building of this village. They are painted of this ochre, yellow typical color, and it's a really colonial town. You will have a little panorama of Yucatan Peninsula on the top of the convent there. It's really nice stop making from Merida. You can also combine leaving from Merida, visit Izamal, stop to Chichen Itza, and then drop off in Cancun, or on the way left, on the contrary, leaving from Cancun, stop in Chichen Itza, have lunch there, continue to Izamal, have a stop of maybe 1 hour there, and then to continue to Merida, sleeping in Merida. It can be combined in so many places. As I can tell you, Chichen Itza is one of the 7 wonders in the earth. This is the famous pyramid of Kukulkan. We have the equinox on March 21st when the sun is coming down here, or the snakes come, the shadow of sun, it's coming down step by step till reaching the earth here. I need to check your comments. Exactly, yes. Valladolid, it's so nearby Chichen Itza, and can also be combined. Normally people coming from, if you're staying in Merida, you leave from Merida, you can stop at Izamal or go directly to Chichen Itza and then stop in Valladolid, which is also another colonial village. A little bit bigger than Izamal, but is a little Merida. Valladolid is so similar to Merida. This is the same style of a church, same style of the Central Park with Alameda. Alameda is the name of the Central Parks of the big cities. Colonial chairs, really romantic chairs that you can find. And it's from Chichen Itza and Valladolid, it's just 15 minutes maybe. It's longer to get up on the bus, get up on the van, that the distance from Chichen Itza to Valladolid, it's 15 minutes far. So Chichen Itza, guys, it's really a must that you need to visit. It's hot, yes, it's hot, but fortunately in Chichen Itza we still have shade to stop and have an explanation, even though the best way, it's if you are staying in Cancun, leaving early in the morning. At the difference of Mexico City tour that they are leaving by 9. In Cancun, the tours activities are leaving very early in the morning. By 7 is the most of pickups, unless that it's private site, so you can leave the time that you like. But anyway, we suggest you to leave early in the morning for the weather. It's really hot, and people don't stand the hot weather from a long day. day. Chichen Itza tour, leaving from Cancun, it's a 12 hours tour. So you are leaving 7 in the morning to be back at 7 by night. It takes 2.5 hours from Cancun driving to Chichen Itza, and then 2 hours the visit in the archaeological site, lunch, cenote time, Valladolid time, and then to be back to Cancun. It takes about 12 hours, but believe me, it's really worth the time that you spend in this archaeological site. Also, we have, to avoid crowd, to avoid the hot weather, we can organize Chichen Itza in the morning. There is open the gate that you can, let me get back. You can see the dawn from Chichen Itza. You need to stay, if you live in Cancun, you need to leave by 4 or 5 in the morning to be able to stay by 6 at the pyramid, since here the sunrise, it's really early in the morning. At 6 we already have the sun up, so you needed to leave really early in the morning, unless there is an hotel in Chichen Itza which is working. We are working so close. It's called Maya Land. You can stay there coming from Merida or leaving from Cancun. It depends where you are staying. Stay in the night in Chichen Itza Hotel, Maya Land Hotel. So at this point, you get up at 5 in the morning. Just you can walk to the pyramids, so you can see the dawn in the archaeological site, which is priceless. And by 8, you're already leaving the site, so you avoid crowd, you avoid hot weather. You can still have the day in front of you to still visit and make other activities. Campeche, as Luz was telling you, is the third state belonging to the Yucatan Peninsula. It's from Merida, it's about 2 hours driving maybe. Otherwise, you can, we used to visit Campeche when you take a circuit leaving from Mexico City, going to Chiapas, and then from Palenque, you drive to Campeche, stay there, and then from Campeche go toward Merida, Chichen Itza, and then finally in Cancun. Sure. We are going to send you by WeTransfer or by
yeah, Dropbox or whatever it is.
Yeah, Dropbox, whatever. Yeah, because it's a little bit heavy, but anyway.
Yeah, we can send it to
Yes, we can
Sunlight.
share with you. No problem. Yes. So Campeche is the third colonial style. It's not so big as you can see. It's the colonial cathedral, as all the colonial towns they have. All the columns, styles of restaurants. That this one was an ancient hacienda. Then down there became restaurants that you can have a coffee there or just have dinner. And this is the Alameda, no, which is the Central Park. Local in the main square, the Zocalo of the historical center. And this is Campeche is nearby the ocean, so you can see also the difference. I can be combined from Merida or from a circuit coming from Chiapas. Okay, I want to check. Let me check your comments.
And then we finally arrived to the Caribbean Ocean. We made it.
Yes, if you're drinking tequila, you won't understand anything. Don't worry. You can say yes to everything. Hey, tequila, there is a lot of tequila tasting nearby Chichen Itza highway, since it's 2.5 hours from Cancun. So sometimes we can combine, we did in incentive groups, we can have, for living from Cancun, for first stop Chichen Itza, do first the duty with no alcohol, make the visit of archaeological site, have lunch, and then on the way back, after visiting a cenote to refresh, okay, then you can stop in a tequila tasting hacienda, and where there you can find arts and craft, and also you find artisanal tequila, which is is costing less expensive than famous brand tequila, but also you can have the tequila tasting. So at the end, welcome to Cancun. Cancun is a Mayan word which means the nest of snakes. So we are all snakes in Cancun, don't worry. And Cancun can be at the very southeast sides of Mexico, 2 hours flying from Mexico City, 12 hours flying from Turkey, but we have a direct flight from Europe, so it's a really easy reachable. Cancun is a 50 years old town. The 22nd of April was the birthday of Cancun. We just made the 50 years this town, so it's a really young Mexican town. Quintana Roo state, which belongs to Cancun, was the last state to belong to Mexico Republic. So we are really young town in Cancun. Our museums are modern museums. You won't find in Cancun any colonial style as in Merida. There is no colonial church. Our church are modern church or open air church. It's a different style, and Cancun it's totally a modern city. So in Cancun you can find more than 125 hotels. You will have hotels for every kind of budget, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, deluxe. Resorts, and any kind of budget is acceptable in Cancun. Hotel downtown, of course, they are less expensive than an hotel by the beach. Sometimes we can have in Cancun a first stop coming from Europe. You stay in Cancun in a downtown hotel in Cancun, and then leaving the day after from a circuit to Merida, to Palenque to do a Mayan circuit, and then coming back, you can stay in an hotel by the beach, so you can combine the culture and the time for the beach. In Cancun, most of hotels are all inclusive, but also there are some of those that are still in having the European plan or bed and breakfast meal plan. I repeat, it's for every kind of budget. Most of hotels in Cancun are ballrooms because since we have a convention center in the middle of hotel zone in Cancun, a lot of congress have been developed in Cancun. So we are mixed, we combine the business tourism with the leisure tourism. So normally incentivize groups, they are coming, do the sessions for the first 3 days of the week. We have 1 day at the leisure that we can have a Chichen Itza tour, Isla Mujeres tours, then we can say, or just people want to stay by the beach. It depends the budget of the group, the time that you want to spend, the nature of people, because sometimes people, they don't understand anything, that they don't want to know anything about the culture. They want to stay by the beach because they love crystalline water. So it depends on the length of week of staying in Cancun and the budget, and everything will be organized. Hotels on the beach, really, just crossing. We have downtown hotels. It depends. All-inclusive, EP, BB, family hotels, adults-only hotels. We have every kind of hotels for any kind of budget. Yes, because most of all-inclusive meal plan is for food and beverage in Cancun. You know, the all-inclusive meal plan was born from resorts in Mayan Riviera. Then, since the tourism market was asking for all-inclusive, so this meal plan will be extended to Cancun hotels too. But the difference from an hotel in Mayan Riviera than a Cancun hotel is that in Cancun, they have meal plan included, which is food and beverage. And some of those, they also have water activities, but there are few of them that have water activities. Sometimes they have entertainment program included, but not all hotels in Cancun have a theater that they can have the show, the folkloric show or a team night show that in Mayan Riviera they used to organize every single day, which is part of all inclusive. So after the pandemic, I don't think all-inclusive meal plan will change, but of course, they're going to have so many safety restrictions that maybe all the hotels, they have space for having an open air theater, maybe can still have their own show. But hotels that have a theater, closed theater, because hotels, they built their own theater, maybe will be changed. They're going to have any other kind of entertainment.
I strongly believe that mostly what they will do is they will work with schedules, because you know, they will have to have more schedules for breakfast, more choices for breakfast, as well for lunches
Normally,
and dinners,
yeah,
as well for shows, no? Because usually it's where shows are evening shows especially, or some activities, or in the days where they have, where they concentrate most of the people.
Yeah, so they can change.
The only way is, I think that the beginning, first of all, they won't sell, I mean, they will have an occupancy of maybe 60% of
yes,
the hotel.
Of course.
First of all. And then they will have to work with schedules, with different schedules. That's the only solution they can do. If they want to still work with an all-inclusive formula. I mean, we will see. Actually, there's no, we don't have news yet from most of the hotels. I think they're all out there working really hard on that. But actually, the next weeks we will have some webinars with some of our
hotels. They can share with us their.
Yeah, so let's see what they will say to us. No? But I think the first thing they will do is just to manage a different occupancy. I think for 1 year at least, they won't see 100% occupancy. They won't.
So, you know, this is the office open, so I will receive all of the mails. I was telling you in Cancun, there is no resort as in Mayan Riviera Hotel. In Cancun, you will find, let me come back to in Cancun, you will find more buildings, as you can see here, okay, than the resorts with the different floors, you know, okay. Can you see? This is building, you know, they are building, they're not resorts, okay? Look, this is the buildings, okay? So, of course, as Luz was saying, we will have less occupancy to have less people around the pool, around the beach and the restaurant. Normally, in the all-inclusive hotel, they used to have a big restaurant, which is the main, where we'll have the buffet breakfast. But I'm sure that now there will be open more restaurants for the breakfast to share people, divide people, to not have the highest occupancy of restaurants, that you can have less people in more restaurants. So this is one of those safety rules that maybe can be changing. Normally, this is one main restaurant for buffet, for the 3 meals, buffet, lunch, and dinner. And then for lunchtime, they are open 2 restaurants only: the buffet, the main restaurants by the lobby, and the one by the beach for lunchtime. Because also most of people during lunchtime, they are out of hotel. They were outside the excursions. Groups are working in the sessions. So really few people still staying at the hotel but lunchtime. And then for dinner, they have the specialty restaurants. I mean, if the room is for family, I mean, they belong into the same family. So I don't think they're going to have changing if 2 adults and 2 children can still share in the same room because they are family. Maybe for the mice, some rules can be changed. Maybe they won't have any triple anymore. They have 2 people. But anyway, we are going to have a test at the airport, guys. So if people won't pass the test for safety, they won't reach the hotel. I can make sure, you know. So yes, of course that for mice, they are going to ask, but lately in a group, most of groups that we received last year, and the beginning of this year, we have a 90% mice group with the single rooms and just the 20% of double, and most of them are staff, you know. Most of people of mice, most of mice, they're going to ask for single rooms, then double, as in the past they used to do. So even though for the virus, I mean, the tendency is for booking more single rooms than the double it was they used to be in the past. Maybe. So, but anyway, the safety test has been done at the airport. If you are free of a virus, I don't think it's a problem to stay around the hotel or the installations or wherever you like. The problem that we don't know yet, if the people are asymptomatic. So, I mean, they're nothing, they didn't have even temperature. So, but anyway, I mean, on the way, we're gonna change, we're gonna have so many other rules that at this moment we don't know yet. So tourism will be changing. So maybe leisure tourism will be the last step to start again. The first tourism is going to start is mice incentives, you know, because they can follow rules. Normally in a leisure group, people won't listen. People won't follow the rules because they are leisure, you know, you're going to have fun. They don't have, they are paying their own trip, so they don't want to listen. You can't stay here, you can't stay there. It's not possible to do that if they are paying on their own trip. But for mice, since people are invited, so they used to listen rules, they used to follow the rules. Guys, you can't stay there, you have just 20 people in this place, so please make your reservation or try to divide it among yourselves, groups, or I don't know, 10 people groups can eat from this time, 10 people groups can stay there. But in the mice, it's easier to work with because they used to follow rules. The leisure, it's the problem. But the leisure was the last niche of market will be open. So when leisure are traveling, a lot of things will be changed already. So we will know how to do, we will know what rules to follow, believe me.
Just a very quick thing, being tourism the main way of income for Cancun and Riviera Maya, be sure that government, Tourism and Hotels Association, as well as hotel owners, will be very, very, very sure about working about this, because of course they are very, very concerned about this and about start working again as soon as possible. So they will make huge investments if it's necessary to make everything work, you know, for clients. So don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure.
So as you can see, Isla Mujeres, the island of women, it's very close to Cancun. It's about 45 minutes by catamaran. This is the snorkeling, the most famous snorkeling tour organized in Isla Mujeres, where the water is the most crystalline you can find in whole Mexico. These beaches are have been compared to Fiji beach for the same white water that you can find. Okay, So this is activity can be organized for mice. You can have a private catamaran in Cancun. There are a lot of catamaran fleet, the small, the medium, the largest. So you can have a catamaran of also 90 people on the same catamaran. So it depends on budget, depends of size of group. Also for the private family, they have a catamaran for 10 people, 12 people. So it depends on what people want organized. Holbox, Isla Holbox, also is the north side of Cancun. It's reachable very early in the morning. It's an all-day tour, but it's most famous for bicycle ride, but most of them for the whale shark. You know, there is also in the season that is starting from May 15 to September 15. If you have people traveling in those dates, you can have the chance to book this activity to snorkel with the whale shark that is in the northern side of Cancun, which is called Bosch. Holbox is a white sand island, really bohemian island that can be reachable 2.5 hours by van, and then it's 30 minutes ferries, all day tour, but it's a very nice experience that you can do while living in Cancun. In Mayan Riviera hotels, as I can see, you can find boutique hotels, resorts, any kind of budget. It's really difficult in Maya Riviera to still find hotels with the European plan, with no meals or just bed and breakfast. Most of them are all inclusive, but Essentia, the boutique hotels, it's the one that are still keeping those kinds of meal plan of EP, of BB only. But most of them, most of 5 hotels or 4-star hotels are all inclusive resorts. And then the rules of all-inclusive maybe can change according to the safety program. Millions of activities can be organized living in Cancun, living in Mayan Riviera. It depends on the degree of amusement that you want, entertainment that you want to reach. We have extreme activities, relaxed activities, depend on budget, depend on timing, depending on size of a group of people, familiar, adults-only activities. I mean, it depends a lot of things. You can combine the jeep, the zip line, and the cenote in one tour only. The 2 famous parks, Xcaret and Xel-Há. Xcaret is famous for the underground river where you can swim in, okay? And for the Mexico Espectacular folklore show, which is by night. It is a full day tour. Xcaret, it's only with can be combined with the buffet lunch and the dinner. It's a little bit expensive, but if you have budget, believe me that Xcaret once in your life must be visited. Xel-Há, it's more known for snorkeling, is half-day tour. It's all-inclusive park for the food and beverage, snorkeling equipment, snorkeling activity, and also a lot of things can be changing for the crowd, you know. Before Xcaret was the most crowded park, I think, in the world. They can have 2,000 people in the same day. It's unbelievable. But now a lot of things can be changing, so we need to check what's going on in the next future. Underwater Museum, which is the Musa, there is three ballrooms can be visited in a museum. The snorkeling one is this one, because people that can dive, you don't have the PADI to be able to, for diving. So for snorkeling, just this one can be seen, okay? But if you have people that they are able to dive, so they can also visit the 100 people ballroom that can stay 10 feet down, 10 meters deep, and this one is 3 meters deep. So it depends if people are snorkeling or are diving, but it can be done. Akumal is known for swimming with the turtles, as you can see here. They are not photoshopped photos, they are really the real photos. So it's Akumal, it's nearby Tulum, so it depends if people are staying in Mayan Riviera, yes, they are staying in Tulum, they are staying in Cancun, but remember that all activities are leaving early in the morning. By 7:30 at most, people are staying already on the van to start activities, because sit-and basis tours, we have so many hotels to be picked up, so that's why the timing of pickup in the morning is early. Yes, Mexico, it's huge. So you need to define the profile of visitors. If they are more aquatic people, if they are relaxed people, they are cultural people, so they can combine the cultural Mexico City with the Yucatan Peninsula, so both of pyramids or both of styles, Aztecs with the Mayan, and then ending by the beach. They also can have a circuit visiting Chiapas and Palenque, ending by the beach. We have so many combination of activities of, excuse me?
No, this was a background noise, I guess. Tonia,
Okay.
can we summarize in 2 minutes, please? Because we need to take some questions as well.
I think we're almost at the end, yes.
Okay.
We are finishing already.
Perfect.
We have just 4 slides left. So Tulum is a must for people who don't want to do the 2.5 hours driving to Chichen Itza. So Tulum is the smallest Mayan archaeological site by Cancun, and it's the only one on the beach. As you can see, the castle here is just straight on the water, on the beach. This is this one, okay? This is the other side. And as you can see, so the wide beach, this is the castle here. You can see it's the same, okay? So, and there are stairs that people coming down and have a bath here in the ocean. So normally this tour is combined, or it's a half-day tour, or it's combined with the Shelha Park, it's combined with so many activities, well, so many different activities that people, it depends on the profile of people. You can combine, or just I don't want to do anything, I want to visit Tulum. There is a tour called Tulum Express that you leave from your hotel, go to the ruins, 1.5 hours in the ruins and be back. So by 2 o'clock, you're already back in your hotel. So you can still have your activities. Otherwise, Tulum can be combined with the extreme activities of zip line, cenote, or jeep safari. Tulum is combined with the Rio Secreto. Tulum can be combined with, I don't know, with the dolphin swim for people who are interested in doing that. So, but if you have people we have a little bite of archaeological culture, you can make them visit Tulum, and they will be more than happy because it's the only one by the ocean. Tulum hotels. Tulum, it's an expensive destination, unfortunately, because it's relaxed. And the beach of Tulum is mystic, it's magical, it's really nice. We have boutique hotels. I think all of hotels in Tulum, there is no all-inclusive. They are just EP or BB. Also, some hotels also can have the full pension, but most of them are with breakfast only included. Also because it's typical in Tulum that by now you go out by bicycle and you have dinner in the fancy restaurants in the hotel zone of Tulum. So, but just have in mind that Tulum is more expensive than Cancun, even though there is no big hotel as in Cancun, but those hotels, I mean, we have promotions, of course, because we are used to working with them, but you can see how an hotel can cost more expensive than a Cancun hotel. Yes, it can be.
What also is, I will say something very short, it's a totally different experience. If you have a client that really wants a small hotel because there are not only boutique hotels, there are boutique hotels and 4-star hotels. If you want to have a client that wants a really small hotel, you know, that almost feel like they're at home, Tulum is perfect. It's just perfect. No, it's more kind. I would suggest that mainly to young people or people not older, not to retired people that maybe are seeking more comfortable things, but young people or even people that just want to enjoy a little bit of nightlife in a very bohemian village. It's very nice. You know, there's a lot of people also that they don't love all-inclusive hotels. You know? So Tulum is perfect, and it's the only part of that area that has small hotels. So dependent of the profile of your client, of course. Well,
Exactly.
keep in mind that Tulum is 2 hours from Cancun Airport. That's important to keep in mind.
So Cancun is the biosphere of Cancun, of wildlife. I did by myself this tour, and really you can see dolphins, wild dolphins. You can see rays. You can see birds, a lot of birds. The eagle. It's an amazing natural tour that you can really have a natural experience in your life. It's a full day tour, so it depending once again of timing of people, budget of people, profile of people, because not everything is for everybody. You need to, but fortunately in Cancun we have so many different options to offer, but it's really will be a shame for people staying in hotel and not visiting anything. So you can have a cheaper hotel to be able to do more activities, or people that they want to visit that with just one thing, you can have a more expensive hotel, so to enjoy the hotel, but at least make them visit one thing at least. I don't know, maybe Chichen Itza, maybe Xcaret, maybe I don't know, something, but really to not visit anything will be really a pity, because coming from so far away and not visiting anything, I mean, with a country so rich of things for visiting, I mean, it can be studied, the budget to fix all the things that can be mixed all together. Nightlife is the famous Cocobongo. People came here last year in the fam trip. They did the Cocobongo. So you can ask them how was their experience. The picture that you find here, it's real. Really, you can find all those people inside. Cocobongo, we have 2 Cocobongo in Cancun and in Playa del Carmen. Cancun, of course, for all the people staying in Cancun and in Puerto Morelos, and in Playa del Carmen for people staying in Tulum and all Mayan Riviera to make them come over Cancun. It's 2 hours from Tulum, so they can stop in Cocobongo. Cocobongo, it's not a normal disco. Cocobongo is a show. They have a show starting at 11 and ending at 2 a.m. They have performances, a lot of singers and the big characters in the world wild. So there is a Cocobongo for the youngest people, Cirque du Soleil for people who know the brand, who know the performance. A little bit expensive, but they have different entrance, so it depends on budget that they have. By night, also we have a parade show, Jolly Roger. Also we have Xochimilco by night. We have so many things to do. It depends on timing, first of all, how many people there are, if it's a group, it's a MICE group, leisure group, family, with kids, with the teenagers, just adults, couples, it depends. We have also Columbus cruise by night. This is for honeymooners, for example. That's a really romantic, fancy dinner on the lagoon. For younger people, we have a party show here. For the people who have more money, we have a Cirque du Soleil. For the drinkable people, you will have Cocobongo because there is open bar included. So it depends. It depends on the profile of a passenger, of a visitor. You can find any kind of thing. And I think it is the last thing.
Perfect,
Do you have
perfect.
any
Tonia,
question?
Tonia, Luz, thank you very much.